Okay, so let's start proper this time. So, Assalamualaikum everyone. Let's begin our class today with surah recitation first. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amin. Okay, as I've mentioned just now, it is going to be speaking session. And during our first class, I believe that I have covered all part one. Any question about part one? Individual, if you can recall, you are given one question, one situation for all, but the point given to each of you is going to be different. So if you are candidate A, you talk about your own point. If you are D, you talk about your specific point. So the time given to you is 2 minutes, and you cannot really jump on the sequence. I think it's quite clear, right, on that part. Any questions so far for part one?
Yes, Miss.
You, Mhm. No question. Okay. All right. So let's proceed with the second part, which is going to be part two for the speaking session. Okay, part one, individual. When we talk about part two, and if you can recall when I mentioned about the format and also the way they are going to be conducted, part two, there is no such thing as having like a time cap or a break in between each of the parts. So after part one, you are going to begin exactly with part two. So part two here, it deals with what do you call this, a group discussion. So when we talk about group discussion, if you can recall, if there are four of you, the time given to you is 8 until 12 minutes. So it's quite kind of like a long time for you to talk, especially if you don't have ideas on what to talk about. So here we are going to deal with how to tackle speaking part number two. So it's going to be really easy if I dissect this according to three categories here. So we are having like beginning, middle, and also ending part. So to begin speaking part two, it's going to be okay if you greet the other candidates again. I know that you have already mentioned the greeting in the first part, but this part also it should be okay if you mention the greeting again, as simple as hello again, everyone. So today we are going to talk about, okay, then you talk about the topic. So please take note that if you begin the discussion, extra marks are given to you because it shows that you have the effort and you take the power to start the discussion. It is also the same with ending the discussion. So always take the chance to begin or to end the discussion. Marks are given to you, extra marks there. Take note on that. And during the beginning, of course, you are going to talk about the topic first. And in the middle of the discussion, there will be several things that will happen. Okay, have a look at here. I hope I'm sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen, all of you? Am I sharing my screen?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm afraid that I am the kind of short sendiri here. Okay, so beginning is you start the discussion. When it comes to middle of this one, middle is what happens in during the discussion. So there will be a lot of things happening during the discussion. First and foremost, of course, you are going to give your opinion. So the possible way of saying this is like, I believe that this is the best choice. This is because. So don't just give your opinion, explain a little bit on that. So when you give opinion, there will be some people, or there will be one or two people who will agree with you. So there are some people who will also disagree with you. So can you tell me one sentence to show that you agree with me? Can you kind of like share with me one sentence expressing agreement? Anyone can share. What do you say when you agree with someone? What do you say when you agree with someone? Come on, what is the sentence to mention that, yes, I agree with you, instead of saying I agree with you? Come on. I mentioned to you that I need engagement. I am not going to give lecture. What else instead of saying I agree with you?
I think it's a great idea.
It's
Is
a
it?
great idea. So yes, it shows that you are actually expressing your agreement towards the idea of that specific person. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, that is regarding agreements, and I believe that agreement is easy because we are going to get along with the person who mentions about the idea. The problem is regarding disagreement. So when we talk about disagreement, you can do it in two ways. One is direct, another one is indirect. Okay, usually, I am not saying that you cannot make use of direct, because in our culture, we are more towards like indirect. We are not really saying that I don't like your idea, or your idea, I don't agree with you, or your idea seems to be like less common sense in terms of your idea. That is direct. Indirect. So how can we disagree with people but make it indirect? How is it possible? Or what is the sample of sentence that we can make use of? Can you try? We want to express disagreement, but we don't want to make it obvious by saying that I don't like your idea, or I don't agree with you, or your idea doesn't make sense. Okay, try. How can you say, how can you express your disagreement? Nak cakap macam mana ni? Come on. Direct is easy. Indirect, you need the technique there. Can anyone share? You want to reject the idea, but you don't want to sound direct. How? In Malay, you call this like, saya suka idea awak, tapi then it's a kind of like disagreement there. Like first you praise the idea of the person first, then you kind of like give your contrasting point of view. So it can be something like, your idea is great, however I believe that the second choice is better. Okay, so always give this kind of praising the idea of the person first, or your idea makes sense, however it might be less kind of like in terms of the importance. So always go for indirect. It should be okay if you go for direct as well. There is no such thing as getting low marks. So I'm giving you two ways of this expressing disagreement. So you boleh buat dua cara lah. Satu direct, satu indirect. There will be a part where you will disagree with people, especially when you have like 8 to 12 minutes. So during your group discussion, don't just agree with everything, because it will turn out to be a very boring discussion. Sometimes you have to provoke the person, and towards the end, you can always kind of like harmonize with each other. Okay, questioning is, let's say if you don't understand the explanation by the person, so you can always question the person. Question is like you tanya soalan. So for example, you can ask something like, excuse me, when you mentioned about the issue just now, it's not really clear. So can you explain again? You can always question that way. Or let's say if the person says something like bombastic word, then you can clarify again. Just now you mentioned about one word, so can I know the synonym of the word, because it's not clear for me. So questioning is really needed when you are having the group discussion, especially when it's not clear. You can always ask question to the friend. That's questioning. Okay, next one is interrupting. This is the skill that is quite difficult to, I would say, to implement. So what is interrupting? Can I know? Why do you need to interrupt? What is interrupting? Who wants to share interrupting? Fatima, what is interrupting? What is interrupting?
When the person that who are talking was too much sorry then we want to add our point, something like that.
Yeah, possible. So interrupting. So in Malay, we call this like mencelah. Okay, usually when we talk about interrupting, it might sound like rude. However, you have that specific time, 8 to 12 minutes. You don't know who will be grouped together with you. Maybe the person is kind of like dominant, thinking that I am the best. So if the person didn't really give you the chance, you have to take the chance to interrupt. Always take your chance. Otherwise, all your efforts are going to be wasted if you don't take the chance. How can the examiner kind of like give marks to you if you don't talk? So interrupting is needed. So what will be the possible sentence for us to interrupt in discussion? Arfan, give me one. How can we interrupt without really sounding rude? Okay, give me one example of sentence. It's okay to be wrong now. How do we interrupt when people are talking? Arfan,
Uh,
give me one sample sentence, maybe. How to interrupt?
Sorry for interrupting. I think that the second one is better than
Ah,
yours.
okay, that's good. So you can mention about sorry for interrupting or sorry to interrupt. Okay, that's a good idea. Or you can say something like, "Can I excuse me? Can I express my opinion as well?" So you have to mention, you have to implement this skill if, let's say, you have like dominant groups thinking that they are the best. So interrupting is needed. Okay, thank you, Arfan, and also Fatima just now for sharing. So this one, the next skill is persuading. Persuade is, in Malay you call this like you memujuk. Usually if you are in sales, you need this skill to persuade people to believe in you and to persuade people to kind of like purchase your product. So persuading in speaking is like when you give your ideas and you want other people to be at the same part with at the same side with you. So you mentioned this kind of persuading sentences. For example, when you explain, then you can say something like, "Don't you think so?" Arfan, for example. So indirectly you are trying to force the people to say yes to you. Okay, or you can say, does it make sense, everyone? So that's the skills of you to try to persuade everyone to be with you. So that's persuading. You need that towards the end of the discussion, because towards the end of the discussion, our aim is to ensure that we can reach one conclusion. So that's why you should persuade others. So we will practice this skill in the next practice. So repairing. Why do you need to repair discussion actually? In Malay, you call this kind of like baiki, or you have to do something with it, repair. So let's say, if I give you the topic of education and suddenly someone gets excited and talks about politics. So this is the part where you should repair the discussion. If you don't repair the discussion, the person will keep talking about unnecessary things. If it is unnecessary, how can we give you marks for the content? So content is going to be 0. So if you think that you have like diverted from the main topic, you have to repair the discussion. You can give sentences like, "Excuse me, I think we are already deviate from the topic. Let's get back to our topic, which is education." So you have to alert the person if someone gets overexcited. Always repair the discussion, because you don't know where the flow of the discussion will go. Because when we give our ideas, we tend to forget about the main thing there. So that's repairing. So basically, these are the skills during the middle of the discussion. After you have applied all the skills here, you need to end the discussion by a conclusion. So when we talk about conclusion here, if possible, we need just one. If you cannot come up with one, let's say you have like two conclusions, marks will be less, because our aim is to come up with one only. If you can come up with one only, marks will be higher for that. So make sure to, I would say that even if your idea is good, sometimes towards the end you have to tolerate. That's the thing. You have to, in Malay you call that tolak ansur. You kena tolak ansur dengan other group members. Tolerate means, if let's say there are four of you, maybe three already agreed on the same point and suddenly you have kind of like different opinion. So I believe that you should be together with them so that they can conclude on one point only. So always try to tolerate. However, if you think that towards the end the person is really stubborn, the person doesn't want to be together with you for the conclusion, you can separate the conclusion. For example, let's take last week's sample. Let me share. Hang on. Okay, last week's sample, we did something about, okay, about this one. Okay, if you can recall last week's sample, we talked about the gift for our brother. Okay, let's say this is your group discussion topic, and let's say one person really agreed that cash is the best present. However, the other three has mentioned that laptop is the best one. So 3 versus 1. If you don't conclude, marks will be deducted. So this is the time when you split the conclusion. So you can mention here that it seems like we cannot reach one conclusion. So to conclude, 3 of us agreed that laptop is the best present, while candidate, you mentioned the person, candidate A agreed that cash is the best present. So by hook or by crook, you need to conclude, even if you don't reach the same conclusion. If possible, one conclusion only. If it's not possible, if there is one person thinking that I'm the best, my idea is the best, split the conclusion. As simple as that, as long as you conclude. So that is regarding part 2 here. Is it clear regarding the expectation for group discussion, part 2? Any questions so far? Is it okay? Is that okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Fatima, okay? Any questions so
Okay.
far? Okay, Arfan, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Ju, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you for the response. So it seems like you are already good in terms of the formatting. So part 1, individual. Part 2 will be group discussion. Let's have a look at how we mark your paper or how we mark your oral presentation. So scoring muat for the speaking component here. So we will have a look at first, we call this task fulfillment, or in simple word, in Malay, we call this like, you jawab soalan ke tak? As simple as that. So if you jawab soalan, you will score full marks for this. So in order for you to really have a look at the task fulfillment, you really need to first understand the topic. So if you don't understand the topic, how can you talk about this one? So then after you understand the topic, you develop relevant. This is the keyword relevant. If you understand the topic and you give us something that is not relevant, it is also something that is considered as 0. Why are we going to give you the marks if you give us irrelevant ideas? So relevant ideas, and not only having good relevant ideas, you have to present your viewpoints clearly. So understand the topic, give us something good, and then you tell us the topic. You present your viewpoint. Task fulfillment here. That's it to score the marks for task fulfillment. It will give you 15 here. Later I'll show you. Okay, the second part is language and organization. Okay, this is always the killer part because we are having class in for 3 months, right? To improve on your grammar here, I don't think it is possible. Even if you learn English for years, like 10 years, grammar is still something like a concern for everyone. So you just need to try your best for the grammar part. So we expect you to make use of accurate grammar. And that's the expectation. Accurate, wow, it's a big term there. And vocabulary, varied vocabulary. So in terms of, let's think of several vocab here. Okay, maybe instead of using help, can you find the other better vocab to kind of like find a synonym for help? How can I help you? How can I what? Instead of saying help, we try to make use of better grammar. What is a synonym for help? How can I help you? How can I?
Assist
Come on,
you.
come on, synonym. Assist you. Thank you so much. How can I assist you? Okay, maybe one more. Check. Okay, let's say you have something that you mentioned to person. Oh, let me check first. Let me start with the word V. Please help to check that for me. Please help to. Please help to verify. Okay, one more. Understand. I do not understand the concept of speaking. Instead of saying understand, you can mention something about I do not comprehend. Comprehend means understand as well. So if you can make use of better words for the vocabulary, marks will be higher in language and organization. So always think of something better when you present your viewpoints. Okay, then grammar, you knew it, all the tenses there. And linking words. In Malay, we call this kata hubung. for example. Other than that, besides that, on top of that, so when you present your idea, make use of the linking words. It gives you marks for language and organization, and organize points clearly. Don't jumble up everything. That's why I taught you last week regarding how to plan that according to category. It is really something that we call organize when you put into category. So all the points are not really jumbled up here and there. Okay, that is regarding language and organization. And this might be the killer aspects that you might lose a lot of marks, but don't worry, you still have the first and the third one. Okay, this is really something easy. Communicative ability. Okay, this one, without even saying anything, we can give you marks already, 15 here. So first, of course, speak fluently. This is the moment you start. Okay, pronounce word accurately and clearly in simple word. Let me give you the keyword here. It deals with body language. Okay, body language is something that people see in you. For example, your eye contact. If you do not maintain the eye contact, we know that you are nervous. So we need the eye contact. So if you think that the examiner scares you, don't look at examiner. At least you look, but then you look at the other candidates. Look at someone who kind of like shows encouragement to you. You have to maintain the eye contact. And when we talk about body language, what else? A gesture. So gesture is something, the movement of your hands. At least you need to move your hands a little bit. Don't make it overreacted in terms of that. Posture. And when we talk about posture, please sit properly. Some people, they sit with their stomach. I think you know how sloth kind of like the sitting position like a sloth. So we don't want that. Please sit properly. It shows that you are confident enough. And what else? When your friend is presenting the viewpoint, at least you can nod and go. So it shows that you are listening. It shows that your ability to communicate is high when it comes, especially in part two for the group discussion. Okay, then what else here? Okay, this is stress and intonation. The moment you begin talking, then we can analyze you as well. Your fluency, how you pronounce word, how the correct stress and intonation. So nada itu mendata juga ataupun ada ups and downs. So we need varied intonation when you present. If it's just like monotonous, it's really going to be boring discussion for this one. Okay, let's have a look at the allocation of marks. So based on the three things there, we put it here, part one. Okay, task fulfillment, 15. This is the maximum one, 15. Okay, language and organization, 15. Communicative ability is another 15. So this is for part one. So for one part, it will give you 45. This is individual. Then you go to group discussion, part two. It is still the same thing. You fulfill the task or not. How's the language? And how's your communicative ability? So it gives you another 45. If you add on 45 plus 45, it gives you 90 marks. As simple as that. Is it clear? Any questions so far? So far, so good? Okay, I believe that diam tu selalunya tanda setuju. So, okay, fine. I consider no question. So, I have done actually with the briefing for part one and part two. So, this is the time for our practice. Let's have a look at the topic last week, education. Okay, I am sharing this one with you, right? I hope I do. Okay, so part one and individual presentation. This one is exactly the same one from what we did in our Google, in our slides or the PDF, but this is another version that I put here. So the situation for part one is just the same. Has everyone presented last week? We talked about cash, laptop, and Malaysian food stuff, right? Did all of you present already?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so part one, if you can recall, we talk about, okay, this is exactly about education, and we talk about what to give to our brother because he is going to pursue the studies in England. Okay, part two. So we try to have a look at our first group discussion practice. Okay, let's have a look at the situation here. Okay, this is our situation. Let me make it smaller. So, Arfan, can you read the situation for us? The situation is in the box.
Studying overseas can have a lot of great benefits. In your group, discuss on the benefit of studying overseas.
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, we are going to talk about benefits of studying overseas. So we know that in our part one, this is the story about our brother going to pursue studies overseas. So now, instead of talking about gifts, we are going to talk about benefits of studying overseas. So looking at the question here, this is what will happen for each of the question. For part two, they will come up with the situation and then they will give you the so-called mind map here. All the points are here. They give you five. Okay, first, the benefit is discover new and exciting foods, then opportunity to travel, increase job prospect, learn self-reliance and be independent. The last one is gain greater knowledge of different culture. So based on part two, group discussion, you can talk about one, two, three, four, five prompts here. So you boleh cakap pasal point yang diberi kat sini. Or if you feel like you have another better points, you can add on. So you can see here. Some ideas have been provided in the mind map. You may use this idea or come up with your own ideas. So it's your choice. Either you want to make use of this one, or if you have other ideas, you can always add on. Okay, then towards the end of the discussion, this is the instruction. Decide on the greatest benefit of studying overseas. So greatest is besar, paling besar. So when we talk about paling here, of course we need one only. So the greatest benefit, which one is it? Come up with one only. So look at all the five prompts here. Do you have any question to ask about the points here? All the 5 points here? Is it clear? If you have no question, let me give you like, the time given is 3 minutes actually, but I'm not going to give you 3 minutes. Let's take like 2 minutes. Look at the question, look at the points given, and in 2 minutes, we will start the first discussion between four of you. Of course, I will interrupt as well. So remember, our aim is to come up with the greatest benefit of studying overseas. We don't know yet. It depends on the flow of the discussion. Okay, take 2 minutes to look at all the points. This is also the same for your real exam. Don't talk to your friends yet. Just look at the paper given to you and check out the points. Are you sure you have no question to ask? Make sure your connection is good so that we can hear you clearly. Okay, remember the keyword in group discussion is to sometimes provoke your friends. Like when they give ideas, you can kind of like ask, "Are you sure?" So provocation is something that can cause the discussion to be lively. So it's kind of like happy for me to hear as well and for the examiner as well. Okay, let's take 1 more minute to have a look at the points. Then we begin the first discussion. Okay, starting in 30 seconds, the discussion. First trial, we didn't put the time yet. Okay, let's get ready for the discussion. We will start now for the discussion. So please, all of you, make sure you participate in the discussion so that your friend do not really talk in between the needed one only. We need everyone. We need everyone to exactly contribute to the ideas. So how are we going to start the discussion? How to start the discussion? You can greet everyone again, like hello everyone, hello again everyone, because first part you already greet everyone, right? So hello again everyone. Today we are going to discuss on the benefits of studying overseas. Okay, remember, if you start the discussion, you get the plus marks there, and it doesn't mean that if you start the discussion, then you have to give your points. If you don't want to give your points, then you pass to the person. Then you can point out anyone. What do you think about it, candidate A, B, C, or D? So for now, we point out each other using name first because we don't have specific one yet. Who is candidate A, who is B, who is C, and who is D. So point out the name of the person, point out each of the person by using the name there. So let's begin the discussion. Okay, who wants to begin? Okay, fine. I begin. Let me begin. And then I will point out anyone here. So make sure you listen carefully, otherwise you don't know what to add on for the ideas. So hello again, everyone. Today we are talking about the benefits of studying overseas. There are 5 prompts given to us, which are opportunity to travel, increase job prospects, learn self-reliance and be independent, gain greater knowledge of different cultures, as well as discover new and exciting foods. Okay, what is your point of view about the greatest benefit of studying overseas, Ju? What do you think about the greatest benefit?
All right. Thank you, Miss Nina. So, in my opinion, the benefits, one of the benefits studying overseas that the student are able having an opportunity to travel, because when being in another country, it actually opens to nearby regions, which allow the student to experience to travel to the nearby places. So for example, maybe they can on weekends or breaks, they can go to other country to discover the neighboring city or any historical sites, which it will contribute to the education.
Okay, ask them. Do you agree with me? Point out anyone.
Do you agree with me, Isda?
Yes. Yes, I agree.
You cannot just mention yes. You have to add on, or maybe you have another opinion.
Sorry for interrupting. Um, your
It's fine.
idea is great, Juliana. But I think that the great benefits is we learn self-reliance and be independent. It's because when we at the new places, we are not with our family anymore, and then we need to be we need to do something alone. And if we not be independent, it should be easier for us to be lost at the new places. Um, what about you, Fatima?
Yes, I agree with you, Arfan. In my opinion, I think the greatest benefits of studying overseas is we can gain greater knowledge of different cultures, because in our country, every country has a different different cultures. So with studying overseas, we can get to know about other cultures too. So we are more open and we know we can learn about the cultures. Uh,
That's really good idea from you. It means that we are totally being immersed in the situation, right? Being immersed in the
yeah.
culture. Mm.
Okay.
Okay,
How about
us.
you, Isda?
I'm sorry, Miss, but I agree with you. We also can discover a new and exciting food. But with go to a restaurant in England to taste a new food like England traditional England food. So and also we not just only bring Malaysian food to people, but also we can uh, try them food.
Okay, that's a great idea from you when we talk about discovering new and exciting foods in that particular country, right? But don't you think that even in Malaysia as well, let's say if we are about, let's say if like Japanese food, we have Japanese food as well in Malaysia, or Korean food, we have that in Malaysia as well. There is no need for you to go to the specific place, study there, then only you can discover the food. Don't you think so, all of you?
Yes, but I think um if we go to the country itself, it is more authentic.
Authentic. Ah, okay. So, yeah, when we talk about authenticity of the food, it is exactly a yes, because whatever they have here in Malaysia, it has been like adjusted to fit the taste of Malaysian, right? So, if you prefer something more authentic, yes, exactly. It is the best for you to go and experience the food in that particular country. Make sense? Okay. What about opportunity to try? What about the increased job prospects? Do you agree that it will be the greatest benefit to study overseas, all of you? Do you agree about increasing job prospects?
Yes, I agree that with that benefits. Uh, it's because when we
So it means that if we are graduate from overseas, the
yeah
kind
when
of
we
like the likelihood to get the job is higher, is it?
yeah when we want to try to get a job, we will easier to get that job because have that uh we have that experience other than
Compared to
uh,
others, right?
other than
I
compared to
I think
other.
yeah, I think it's not about experience actually, because if you are exactly studying overseas or in Malaysia, it is actually it is actually the term of studying. The term is what makes you different is the credentials that you can, or the qualification. So let me ask you questions, four of you. Do you agree that if you are graduates from overseas, the possibility of you to get the job is higher? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with that.
What about Fatima? Do you agree?
Yes.
Ju?
Yes, I agree.
What about Isda?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it is like a sad but true reality, right? When it comes to graduates from overseas, exactly. When people look at your resume, viewing all your resume and all your qualification, the likelihood of you to get the job is going to be higher if you are graduates from overseas. So that might be the greatest benefits as well. So looking at all the benefits that we discussed, that we are currently discussing, it looks like all points are good. However, which one is going to be the best point?
For me, the best point is the increased job prospect because when we study overseas at the at the at the end, we all want to get a job, right? Uh,
Hmm.
Yeah. So when we study overseas, the job that we get is uh eh, the job that we get
Better?
is good other than uh
We might secure better jobs, right? Is that what
uh,
you...
yeah.
Okay.
I agree with Arfan, because when we study overseas, we actually expose ourselves to like different different types of learning. So so if we excel in certain things, there might be a higher chances for us to get a job after we graduated from overseas.
Makes sense. What about the rest of you?
Yes, I also agree with both of them that increased job prospect is the greatest benefits because like Arfan said, it is um more it is uh a chance for us, a higher chance for us to get a job if if we put that on the resume. And also maybe if we study overseas, we have a better communication skills. Yeah, that's all from me.
Yeah, ask Isda.
How about you, Esther?
Okay, for me is because easy to get job. Like other than Malaysia, also can Sweden or anything lah. And then any country. Because Malaysia what economy in Malaysia and economy another country is very different. Exactly with the salary. So if we have experience in study overseas and like experience for the job lah, for a job, we can also can get salary higher, better than in Malaysia economy, I think.
Okay, conclude.
Conclusion.
Okay, try.
Okay. For me, conclusion is it's a good idea for a study overseas because it very mostly more benefit we can get that. For example, is we can also not we can also
That's not the conclusion. Okay, try. Others try. Conclude.
To sum up, the in wait.
Okay, others try.
To sum up, increase job studying overseas also will increase job prospect because when we study overseas we will be more confident because we have new experience in that country. So when we getting the job at Malaysia, it will be different because we more confident.
Okay,
Yeah.
can be polished. Is that the conclusion for all of you? Any other better conclusion?
Can I try?
Yes, yes.
So to conclude, both of us has agreed that increased job prospect is the greatest benefits of studying overseas.
Okay.
That's
Thank you for listening. As simple as that. Thank you, Fatima. You got that. You nailed the conclusion. All right. Towards the end, okay, first and foremost, you have to ask everyone first. This is group discussion. You cannot you cannot mention the word like I. It must be we. So just now towards the end, I noticed that all of you agreed on the increasing job prospects, right? If it is not clear, someone take the role and ask first. You can signal the friends like, okay, this is the time to conclude now. do we agree that increased job prospect is the greatest benefit? Then you ask everyone first. Then let them say what is the point of view. If they say yes, yes, and yes, then you conclude. Then you proceed with the conclusion, just like Fatimah did just now. In conclusion, all four of us agreed that the greatest benefit of studying overseas is increasing job prospect. You can put full stop or you can add on because. If you add on because, you have to recall on the points. If the time does not permit more elaboration, just put a full stop. And towards the end, thank you for listening. Add on that one. Is it clear about how to conclude? Clear.
Clear,
Then
miss.
something. Okay, so let's say if we have two conclusion, increase job prospect, and one more is maybe be independent. Okay, try to do the conclusion. Maybe 3 versus 1. Let's say Arfan agreed on to be independent. Okay, do the conclusion. If 3 versus 1, if you don't conclude, marks will be deducted. You have no conclusion.
Conclusion. To sum up,
Mhm.
I think that the increased job prospect is opposite with mine. Because the great benefit of studying overseas, we will learn self-reliance and be independent. Boleh stop situ ke?
Okay, Arfan. You always when you mention your point, you always have because. That because will trap you because you have to recall on the point. So, if possible, don't mention because. Otherwise, you have to explain. If without the word because, then you don't have to explain. The problem is you have kerana apa, then you have to explain. Okay, others, please try. Conclusion is 3 versus 1. Do the conclusion. It might happen to you in your speaking test. Then how can you conclude? Conclude. 3 versus 1. I'm waiting.
Can I try?
Yes.
In conclusion, me, Isda, and Fatima agreed on increased job prospect for benefit of studying. However, only Arfan agreed on learn self-reliance and be independent for the benefits of studying. That's all from us. Thank you.
Okay. Wow, you point out the person exactly. But yes, you can do it because trust me, the person who didn't harmonize will not get higher marks. Because the aim is to achieve one conclusion. If you are really stubborn in terms of stand up for your point, there is no use of it. We just want one conclusion. So please tolerate, always tolerate. But it is good to know because you don't know who will be with you. Okay, so this is the first practice. What do you think about it? Which one is more manageable, part 1 or part 2? Share, Ju, share.
Part 2.
Okay, Arfan,
But-
yes, Arfan, share.
I think part 2
Which one is
because
more manageable,
we can.
part 1 or part 2? What do you think?
I think part 2 is better because we can share our point
Because
with our
other,
group, with
yes.
others.
Part one, you are going to be on your own. Let's say if you kind of lost the word that you are going to talk about, no one can help you. But part two, let's say your friend is but you know exactly what your friend is trying to say, you can always help. Like, do you mean help? So always help each other. Part two, you can help each other. Part one, it's a no, individual. So Fatima, which part that you think is better, part 1 or part 2?
I think part 2 is better.
Part 2. Okay, Ju?
Part 2 because we can steal someone else point and then just
You
elaborate
can
more.
point out. You can point out. Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. You have each other. That's good. Nice try. Isda, what do you think?
I I think it's part 2 because it's better we give another point to help each other.
To help each other. However, you don't know who will be with you actually. So during the real exam, you will be, the term is like quarantined together in the room. So get the chance to get to know each other, take the chance so that you know, so that you can plan who will do the kind of like introduction, who will do the ending, and in the middle, plan on the discussion, even though you don't have the ideas yet, what the question will be. So at least get to know each other first. You will know the potential of each and every one of them. So yeah, that's what we call toleration there. Okay, this is the question for what do you call this? Education. So I assume that we are done with the theme of education because I cannot focus on a lot of questions for education. We have to go for other topics as well. So education done. Let's pick another topic. Let me check. Have I posted this one? Session 3. Okay, got it. If you look at your Google Classroom, is everyone in the Google Classroom already? Arfan, are you in the Google Classroom?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, that's good. We have one more here actually. Okay, fine. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. We have, so no more briefing, education. Okay, hang on for a while. I need to download. You can view the question in your Google Classroom. The theme is speaking practice graduates. Let me download first. Oh, error. Okay, fine. Let me share my screen. Okay, please look at our second practice here. This one, I got it from your Google Classroom under speaking. You can see here, this is the briefing we have done last week. Briefing part 2 today. Speaking practice just now, we are done with education. And now we go for graduates. So after this, the class will be filled with speaking practices only. Okay. We have 30 minutes left. Okay, which one do you want to practice? Part 1 or part 2? Individual or part 2 first? Individual or part 2? Is it possible part 2?
Yes.
Yes, part 2.
Okay, part 2. All right, let me make it smaller. Okay, the instruction is still the same. It's just the situation there is going to be different. Okay, Fatima, can read the situation for us?
You are discussing with your friends on what to look for when choosing a university to further your studies. In your group, discuss on the important criteria when choosing a
Criteria.
university. Criteria.
Okay. Criteria when choosing a university. Okay, so this is the topic of graduates, and basically we are talking about university criteria. In Malay, what is criteria? Sometimes we call it as criteria as well. So what is criteria, all of you? To make it easy, is it ciri-ciri? Kind of like ciri-ciri, right? Or characteristics there. So here you are going to look for university. So you tengok cari university nak further your studies, and you are considering several criteria when you choose the university. So you have here 5: good track record, top-notch accommodation. Oh, sorry, accommodation is wrong spelling there. It should be double M, accommodation. Please take note. Course contents, offers courses with good job prospect, well qualified and experienced lecturer. So these are the points given to you. Check out the last part here. Try to decide on the most important criterion when choosing a university. Okay, criteria is plural. If you talk about singular, criterion. Please take notes. So towards the end, when you conclude, don't say criteria because criteria is a lot. It's criterion there. So is it clear regarding the situation? If it is clear, take like 2 minutes to have a look at all the notes here, all the prompts, and then we begin talking. Remember to provoke your friends as well. Don't just agree with everything. We are not trying to create a fight. No, we are just trying to make the discussion more lively. Okay, let's take 2 minutes. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Okay. Do you have any question regarding the 5 prompts there? Maybe you want to ask anything? You can ask.
Miss, I'm not clear
Yes,
with
yes, Arfan.
top-notch accommodation for student. I don't
Okay, you know what
understand.
is accommodation, right? You know what
No.
is accommodation? Okay, what is it? Accommodation. Kemudahan, right? In Malay, we call that kemudahan. Top notch is like, I would say, first class. So that's the other word for the word first class, top notch, which means good, great. First class accommodation for students. Is it clear, Arfan?
Yes, miss.
Okay.
Miss, I have question.
Yes.
Uh,
Regarding
what is meaning a good track record for
good track
university?
record. Okay, so when you look at a specific university, there is going to be different record for the university, right? Looking at university in Malaysia, which one is having a good track record, reputation? Which university that you can recall?
UITM?
Possible, but looking, am I being biased? What else instead of UITM? Good
Uh,
track record when we talk about the ranking.
University Malaya.
Usually when we talk about Malaysia, always University Malaya or maybe UKM. So yeah, so those are with the good track record. So we know that why are we classifying them that way? Because they have the good track record, the reputation. Is it clear, Isda?
yes, Miss. Thank you, Miss.
Okay. Okay, don't kind of like waste more of our time. Can we just discuss? Okay, I have done the kind of like sample just now. This is the time for you to do the practice. So begin the discussion.
Okay. Should I start now?
All right. Yes.
All right. Okay. Okay. Hello again, everyone. So today we'll be discussing about the important criteria when choosing a university. So, in my opinion, of course, when we are looking for university, is essential to look for university with a good track record, especially in their academic excellence. This also includes when they are producing successful graduates and positive reputation positive reputation in their national and international rankings. Do you agree with me, Arfan?
Uh,
Arfan?
yeah, idea is opposite with mine. For me, I think that when we choosing a university, the important criteria we choose that course content is because um, uh, uh, when we look at the university criteria, we need to look at the course content because we need to know that the course that we take is similar with our future job that we want or not. And and
Perfect.
mm, mm,
If you don't want to elaborate, point out your friends.
what about you, Fatima?
I see your point, but I think well-qualified and experienced lecturer are the best university criteria because um when we're when we want to study, I put myself in the situation. For this sem, I've got a lecturer that is not really teach teach us, so it's hard for me to study the course by itself since it's a one of the hardest subject for this
Yes.
sem, I think. So well qualified and experienced lecturer are the most important in choosing university criteria. What about you, Isda?
Okay, I agree with Fatima because of um, university criteria is a good idea for offer course with a good job prospect. This is because every student want a job that is the same as the course we are study. So it will be easy to be accepted by our company. Uh,
Um,
is that good? To
yes, but uh, I I think that I think that Fatima point is great because I also have experience about the Paul lecturer teaching at the university because at other because uh when 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 I s- when I at the s- I when I in that sem I also I'm not studying by lecturer. Um I'm doing self studying by friends
With
or
friends.
Google to friends in college. Um and it's hard for me to get a great marks
A good
in
grade.
tests, great marks in exam because of the poor teaching lecturer.
I
What
see.
about you, Juliana?
I agree with your point, but how do we actually want to know that the lecturer is well qualified and experienced? Do you have any idea, Isda?
sorry, but can you repeat again, Ju?
All right, I agree with Fatima and Arfan, but how do we how do we know that the lecturer are well qualified and experienced before we enter in any university?
I think is a good grade, good grade or a knowledge for but about study.
But you're not yet in the university, so how can you actually know that the lecturer is good in terms of teaching, right? Any other candidates want to add on? How do
Sorry
we
for
get to know?
interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupt. I think that we will get to know about that from by telling our seniors about the lecturer that teaching in our course, and it will more easier for us
I
to
see.
uh,
All right, meaning that
So
we have to
recruit.
take we have to take reviews from past from the previous student as well, is it, Arfan?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Let's make our points more clear. Do you guys what is the most important criterion when choosing a university?
I think I agree with Arfan and Fatima that one of the best criterion in choosing a university is well qualified and experienced lecturers. How about you, Isda? Do you agree with them?
Yes, I agree. We'll qualify expenditure. Because we want understand what we learn. So that's why we have to know about lecture. So what about you, Fatima?
Yes, I still agree that my point, which is well qualified and experienced lecturers, is the important criteria because our study is for future. So yeah, I think it's the most important criteria.
Okay, so we can come up to our conclusion that the best university criterion the best criterion when choosing a university is a well qualified and experienced lecturers. Is it, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So as a conclusion, we all agree that the most important criterion when choosing university is a well qualified and experienced lecturers. Thank you for listening.
Okay. All right. The points are not enough. You have to explain a little bit more. The flow is there. You got it when I mentioned about flow, all right? So you are good in terms of like pointing everyone towards ending the discussion, just like Arfan did just now. Let's make it clear. So which one that you like it. And Ju, towards the end, you mentioned about, is it guys? It sounds like informal there. So can we change the term into something more formal? Okay, how? We want to like clarify on that, right? Maybe the word guys
Uh,
are kind of like quite informal. Okay, how can we change that, all of you?
By mentioning candidates.
If a friend is
Mentioning
okay,
candidates. Again,
friends.
friends. No, because you do not point out each other by using the term friend because you are all the candidates there.
What if we mention, is everyone agree with me?
Does
Something
does
like that.
everyone agree? Yes. Does everyone agree with me? Yes. It sounds better instead of using the word guys. Guys is okay, but this is academic kind of like discussion, so we have to maintain words that is quite formal. Okay, so change the term in terms of addressing everyone. And you didn't talk about top-notch accommodation, right? All of you. So when we talk about talking regarding all the five prompts here, of course you don't have to talk about everything, but to kind of like prolong the discussion, why not? You can just talk about it. Either you want to accept or you don't want to accept, then it's going to be okay. And also, Arfan, when you mentioned about the word, you mentioned a lot about the word like curse. Please don't make it short form. Say the full name because, all right? Take note on that, Arfan. And what else just now? Oh, all of you use a lot of I think, I think. If you convert that into Malay, this is like say rasa. When you talk about rasa, it is something that you are not certain of. So when you are exactly kind of like presenting your point of view, you need to be confident. So what can we change the word I think into? Into what? Instead of using think. You
Believe.
have to change the word. I believe, yes, I believe that, or I am sure that, I am determined that my point is the best. Okay, try to avoid the use of think. If you kind of like a slip of your tongue, then it's okay. But then we try to minimize the word. So instead of using think, use the word believe. Something more, something that shows you are confident about the point. Okay, let's add on towards oh, you didn't talk about course content. Hang on. I think our fun. You were the one who talks about course
Yeah.
content, right? Okay. Okay, do you think that we really need to know the course content, all of you? Let's discuss about this one, even though it's done already, the discussion. Is it important to know the course content? Come on, it helps for the discussion as well. Is it important?
Yeah,
Yes.
because we need to
Okay,
know
why?
that course is related
Related to
to
related to
What we
related
study, I
to
think,
again?
what we study. Like for example, if I pick diploma hotel and catering, I should know what is related with diploma hotel catering for like such as accounting or mathematics and business. For me, that
Okay, so yes, it's good to know the course content as well, or sometimes we call this program structure. So that we are aware of what we will be learning. So the expectation when you enter university and when you start exactly when you start the course during your studies. So it's really kind of like needed to know the course content as well. There might be subjects that you cannot really handle, so it might reduce your grades if you don't check on the course content exactly. And what else? Okay, top-notch accommodation. Let's talk about this one. Top-notch accommodation. Okay, what can you elaborate if you are going to talk about this with your friends in part two? Do we really need top-notch accommodation?
Yes, because
hos-
we need a comfortable places to
Oh my
stay.
God. The problem is if you need the comfort, you have to pay the fees. It is
Yes.
not really going to be cheap fees there. So yeah, let's say in Malaysia, if you want top-notch accommodation, can you find it in public university? Do you think it is possible? Top-notch. Top-notch accommodation. Or maybe, can you
Kita
tell
room,
me what is accommodation? Examples of accommodation.
Hostel,
kopi
Hostel? What else?
accommodation.
la um aircon
computer,
in class.
Air conditioners in the class. What else? Maybe the cafe is available. Maybe instead of just the usual cafe, we want Starbucks because we need coffee. What else? Accommodation. Library? Is library accommodation?
Yes.
yeah,
Possible. So
toilet,
hostel.
Transportation like bus.
Okay, so those are what we call the top-notch accommodation. So something like first-class accommodation. And if you are, do you think it is needed? So for Ju is a yes. For the rest of you,
for me, yes.
is that as well? Yes. Arfan, is it
Yes,
needed?
too.
For me is yes.
Okay. If you ask me, top-notch accommodation comes with higher fees. So if you are willing to pay for higher fees, then you can expect the top-notch accommodation. Otherwise, you have to expect just like the so-so moderate accommodation only if you don't want to pay higher for the fees there. You rent tak mahal, then you tak boleh nak expect accommodation kind of like first class there. Okay, let's talk about what else? Good track record. Okay, I love it when Fatima mentioned about the elaboration for the experienced lecturers there. So instead of finding something like bombastic words, giving like facts, you don't have to trouble yourself that way. Actually, unless you knew it, you can exactly share. So elaboration also comes with experience. So if it is like your experience, you can tell about it if it is relevant. So in your context just now, it is really relevant. You can talk about it. And also, if it's not your experience, you can talk about other experience, or you can create the experience. Who knows about your experience, right? So as long as it is related, then it is a yes for this one. Okay. So I hope that, oh, we still have time. Can we go for one more practice for part two? Shall we? One more practice. Okay, hang on. Oh, I don't have it here. Let me repost for a while. Okay, let's take sports technology. Sports first. It's easier. Okay, check out your classroom. Sports. Okay, we are still in part 2. So let's check out the question here. Ista, can you help us to read the question?
Nowadays, a lot of people have involved themselves in sport. Discuss some of the reasons why people participate in sport.
Okay, thank you so much for reading. So now we are going to find the reason why people participate in sports. Participate means join here. So check out all the reasons here. How many reasons do we have? We have health, trend, cooperation, discipline, and interest. As simple as that, the point. So towards the end, what is it that we need to achieve? Okay, discuss the best reason people participate in sports. So sebab yang mana yang we would say the best reason. A reason yang paling kind of like terbaik, reason yang terbaik if people participate in sports. So I give you 1 minute to think of the idea. You don't have to take a longer time. If it's not clear, please ask, especially about the situation. Always remember that you can always come up with your own. It doesn't have to be all these 5 prompts. We begin in 1 minute.
Miss,
Yes, Fatima?
I have a question. For
Mhm.
example, one of us has choose health as the
Reason?
reason. So after that, can we choose that too, or we have to find another reason?
Oh, okay. So it means that you have already proposed, like, I agree, health is the reason. Then suddenly you want to change the point. Is that the question?
No, no. For example, is the
Mhm.
have choose health,
Mhm.
and then I want to choose that too. Can we do that, or I have to
Yes, of
choose
course.
another reason?
No. So let's say Isda has chosen health, then she explained why, right? So when you are
Yeah.
going to continue, you can just say like, yes, I agree with you as well. Then you add on the reason why you think that health is the best reason. You add on to the point. Don't repeat what Isda has mentioned. Is it okay?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There must be several reasons. Of course, you're not going to share the same reason. We try later in this one. Okay, can we begin? Shall we? Okay, this time let's have other candidates to start the discussion. Just now, Ju has already started. So I want others to start the discussion. Okay, do it now. Start the discussion. You can point out to the person or
Hello,
you can give your idea. Okay, yes, Arfan.
hello and good morning, everyone. According to this situation, we are discussing on a lot of people have the reason to participate in sport. For me, uh, the best reason to participate in sport is the trend. Mm. When we join this the s- the trending sport, we will have many friends to to have the same feeling, and it's easy to make a new friend. Um,
Socialize, right?
otherwise, uh, yes. Otherwise, when we participate at the trending sport, um, we will we
Arfan,
Um,
ask others.
it will be the best for us to make the f- the match game in 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 the in the university. What about you, Juliana?
I quite agree with you that a lot of people involve themselves in sports because of trend. Because if some sports, when it gains popularity, such as when World Cups are coming, or badminton tournament is coming, then suddenly everyone will play badminton and suddenly everyone will play
Exactly.
ball. Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's one of the reason that enhance people excitement to join the sports because of the trend. Because nowadays social media can contribute the trendiness for the sports. So do you want to add more, Isda?
Or do you share the same idea, Ista?
Or do you share the same idea?
I think I believe I agree with a point of Chu, which mostly people follow the trend. For example, is football, and badminton. This is my point. What about
Yeah,
you,
what is it?
Fatima?
What was the
Uh,
sentence before you point out?
I believe I believe it's a good idea for point Jew, because mostly people follow the trend. For example, it's like a football. So right now it's a football and badminton is trending on TikTok. So that all people interest to
Interested.
become an athlete.
Okay. Okay, point out the other person.
What about you, Fatima?
That's a good point, but I see things rather differently here because, in my opinion, I believe that interest is the best reason to participate in sports. Because if we doesn't have the interest, we the sports that we play cannot be that cannot be can be long. I think do you get what I mean? Because without interest, the sports that we played are not going to be that long. Yeah. So I think interest we need to have interest to participate in sports.
Point out others.
How about you, Juliana?
All right. I agree with all the points, but I want to add more. Rather than interest, people engage in sports because of health. Because I'm a physical therapist itself, I believe that sports can improve their physical health by strengthening their muscles, their bone, and enhance their cardiovascular fitness. So they can avoid chronic diseases. So one of the reason that people engage in sports are because it provide a better health for them. So do you guys do you agree with me, Arfan?
I
Arfan?
agree with you, Juliana.
Miss, can I try?
No, don't say, can I try? Sorry to interrupt.
Um,
Sorry, excuse me, can I interrupt? And but I believe I agree with the point of Drew, but also in a cooperation is also good for sport because this cooperation is needed when playing, so that there are no misunderstanding with each other. So what about you, Arfan?
Arfan?
Sorry, I'm lagging. I'm not clear about what is the talk about.
Okay, others can add on.
Cooperation.
To those who listen just now to the cooperation, you can add on. It doesn't have to be Arfan.
Since we already have two strength, interest, and health, how about we get to know the reason about discipline? You guys agree with that with that reason?
Yes, I agree with that reason because this participate in sports can teach us to be more disciplined, such as we can um we can be we can be on time, when when we play football. So we have to be on time so that our eh, I'm sorry. I
Makes sense.
kind
It makes
of
sense. It makes sense
yeah.
actually when it comes to your idea for discipline. But don't you think that when we talk about discipline, it applies only to a certain kind of sports? For example, like sports involving like group sports? Don't you think so, all of you? When we talk about discipline? You think all the time. I can wait.
I think discipline is important when we in a group because we have to understanding with each other, and then we have to follow the rules so that we have to be a good athlete. So
Yeah, I'm agree with you. Yeah, when we discipline, when we discipline in sport, we also uh what my point is.
Okay, as we are running out of time, we should we should decide on the best reason why people participate in sports. What do you think, Drew? Which one is the best reason?
I think one of the best reason is health.
Why not? Ask others.
What do you think, Fatima? What's your best idea?
Yes, I think help is the best reason. How about you? Is the
yes, I think it's the best for who want to become an athlete. What about you, Arfan?
Since you guys have choose the
Nice.
health by reason, for me, the best reason for me is strength because we we will we will get to share with other. We will we will we
We can keep
we
up with
will
the trend.
we will have the similar feelings to share with each other. Um,
Okay, conclude. Conclude, all of you. This is a third practice already. Don't tell me you don't know how to do it. Conclude. Come on. Conclude.
As a conclusion, me, Isla, and Fatima chose health, one of the best reason that people participate in sports. However, our
To be the
fun
best.
to be the best reason people participate in sports. However, our fun chose trend as the best reason for people participate in sports. Thank you for listening.
Okay. You do it well for the last part. And yeah, you are still with the term guys. And I think, yeah, try to
Miss,
be a little. Yes, yes.
can we
Arfan.
choose uh other reason?
Other reasons, such
No.
as?
I mean that uh I'm my point is not the same like other candidates. Can we do like that?
It is possible. It is possible.
Oh,
So just like what you did just now, right? Trend, but the rest of them agreed on health. Am I right?
I
So your question is it okay if you choose trend? Is it okay if you choose the different
we
version of
we choose
their?
different reason.
Okay, just like I mentioned just now, our aim is to come up with one conclusion. If you do not harmonize with them, the marks for the conclusion will be quite less. So if possible, try to achieve one conclusion. Try to be together with them.
Okay, Miss.
Okay? Right. There is no such thing as being wrong. It's just about the marks there. Okay, I believe that why is it that the discussion becomes worse than the second and the first one? Is it difficult, the topic? Please share. I love the first and the
Uh,
second discussion, but why? The third discussion seems to be messed up. Why? Is it less thing to talk about? Ista, please share.
Maybe because of
Okay,
the point.
the
Because
point.
the previous one has like a long sentence, but in the the third practice only health trend cooperation and like that.
You're blaming the point.
Maybe maybe.
Okay, fine. So that's the blame for the point. Okay, the rest of you share. What is the problem with the question? That practice should be better. So Isda, share. What's wrong with the question here? It seems like you talk less.
I agree with you because the point.
Okay,
I think easy to we choose for to give an answer. I think it's same with the with everyone for the answer.
it's the
That's
same.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But based on the answer just now, I can see three there that you have chosen: interest, health, and also trend. Okay, Fatima, share. What is the problem with the question?
I'm so sorry, but I blame the point too
You blame the point
because
too.
because I don't have with the point given, I don't have any idea to elaborate.
Elaborate. Okay, I believe that the problem is less vocabulary in sports. So you need to develop your vocabulary in sports, otherwise you cannot talk about this specific question. Okay, just now I noticed that Arfan, you are trying to kind of like probe question when it comes to discipline. But the question is like I thought you were going to conclude, but then you were going to question actually. So let's make it as simple as if you are going to ask question to break the silence, you can say something like, what do you think about discipline, all of you? Can we consider that to be the reason as well? So let's say if it's kind of like awkward situation, then you can probe question. That's how you probe question. Or what do you think about cooperation? Can we consider that as well? Or is it important as well? That's how you probe questions to the rest of you. And Arfan, you make use of the wrong linking words just now. Otherwise, the one when you kind of like giving your ideas just now, the word is other than that actually, because otherwise it's kalau tak. So kalau tak means contrasting. In a sentence it can be like you better be hurry, otherwise I'll leave you here. Baik awak cepat, kalau tak saya tinggal awak. So otherwise it's contrasting. The one that you mentioned just now, you want to add on to the point, so it will be other than that. So be alert on your grammar, on the usage of words, and please improve your vocabulary in terms of sports. I'll try to find vocabulary practice so that you can improve yourself in sports. So for sports and also graduates, we are not done yet with part one. We will revisit this question. So anything to ask about today's session? Please share your feedback for today's session. Isda, what is it that you have got for today? Session.
For this discussion, I think it's good, better than another yesterday. Like I think it's good because I know how to communicate with each other, and then I give it a point, and then they can help me which point, which grammar or my pronunciation. So that's, I think this one is a good for me. That's all.
If you
Thank you,
get,
Miss.
yeah, if you get supportive members later in your group. Okay, hopefully for that, right? Okay, Ju, share your feedback for today's session.
I think same as Isda. Again, something regarding part B, and the class quite fun today.
Because you have to talk. It's not me who did the talking.
Yeah, and we can
Okay.
talk to each other, but a bit more today, I think.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So thank you, Ju. Fatima, share your feedback for today's session.
For today's session, I finally understand how to do this part 2, and yeah, able to communicate with others.
Each other, right? Okay, able to
Yeah.
get like pointing out if you don't have the ideas, point out the others. As simple as that. Okay, Arfan, share.
Um, for this class, I have learned something new.
What is that
How
new?
to uh how to elaborate with in group speaking.
How to handle
But
group discussion,
uh
right?
yeah, but maybe the third part I underestimate the point given, and it makes me getting harder to find the good reason.
Yeah, so you don't trap yourself with the word because. If you don't want to explain, don't make use of the word because, Arfan, because you're always with that because. So be alert on that. And yeah, we try to find some practices regarding sports because you are not able to handle this one yet. Okay, so any other question to ask before we end our session for today? Ju, any question?
No.
Okay, Fatima, any question?
No.
Arfan, any question?
No, miss.
Okay, Ista, do you have any question?
No, Miss.
Okay, maybe not yet. It's not no. Okay, so let's end our session today with Tasbih Kibarah and Surah Wal-As. Amen. So thank you so much for participating, everyone. Next class, I hope you can turn on your camera so that I can judge on your communicative ability for the speaking only. So next class we'll be reading. Let's have a look at the timetable again for that one because everything has been like reshuffled. A lot, some of the components. We will inform you in the Telegram group. Okay, so that's all for today, all of you. Good night. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you,
And
Miss.
All right.